So earlier today we got the second trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home, which contained a very big spoiler warning at the top of it due to footage in the trailer that would spoil the events of Avengers Endgame. So obviously, spoiler warning for this video, we're going to be diving into some stuff that was revealed by director Jon Watts in a new interview with Fandango. In the interview they cover a range of topics, basically a lot of the big revelations that this trailer unveiled, like the MCU Multiverse, the possibility of Miles Morales appearing in the sequel, and how Spider-Man is going to deal with the world post-Endgame. So to start off, they ask about where does this film actually pick up after Avengers Endgame, and Watts says, "We don't say specifically, but the idea is that it is immediately after the events of Endgame. So we get to see the neighborhood from the first movie dealing with the implications of all the crazy fallout in the Avengers film. And you know, in classic New York style, everyone is just moving on and getting on with their daily lives, even though half the people that disappeared are now back." He also does confirm that the film does introduce the idea of the MCU Multiverse, which has been teased in previous films like Doctor Strange. Basically, he does say that yes, we're going to see the scope and scale of what Endgame introduced, the idea of going back in time and creating alternate realities, and that is how Mysterio factors into the storyline. There's so many possibilities opened up after Endgame, and we're trying to raise one of the biggest questions, which is the idea of alternate timelines. Peter Parker is going to be one of the people on the ground dealing with them. In the film, it seems like Nick Fury is going to have a bit of a different role, because since he was one of the people that was snapped away in the decimation event, 5 years have passed in the world, and director Jon Watts says this is a version of Nick Fury that we've never seen, who's essentially a guy trying to play catch-up with a world that has progressed 5 years. So basically, with the Avengers gone, he's trying to assemble a new group of heroes, which makes sense given that he's trying to recruit Spider-Man and Mysterio. The director also does confirm that, like Mysterio, the Elementals are also from another parallel Earth, which should be pretty interesting to explore. Now, going on to other characters appearing in the film like Adrian Toomes or his daughter, or potentially seeing Miles Morales, who was teased in Homecoming, director Jon Watts says there's no Miles in this film, or at least not yet, but who knows, we edit these films down to the last second, so you never know. But he does say that Michael Keaton and Laura Harrier are not in the movie, which actually contradicts reports that we heard last year in which Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture, would be coming back for Far From Home. So maybe he's playing coy and doesn't want to reveal big stuff, we'll just have to wait and see. Moving on, he does drop another big bombshell with regards to Aunt May, who he confirms was snapped away along with the other people in the decimation event. So basically, she's also disappeared and has now come back just like Peter. It should be quite interesting to see what happened to their apartment. Did their landlord also get snapped away? Is their apartment gone? What's going on with that? We'll have to find out. And to cap off the interview, Fandango asked what are the kind of implications that Far From Home is going to deal with after Endgame now that the world has changed dramatically. And basically he says that's one of the fun things that they're going to get to play with. The idea of kind of exploring a real-world, ground-level implications of an event like that. You don't get to see any of the fallout in Endgame, and we get to explore that in our movie. It's really interesting and fun. He also goes on to comment how in Spider-Man Homecoming, the beginning of that film dealt with the aftermath of the first Avengers movie, and this one's kind of dealing with the aftermath of Endgame in a way that kind of Spider-Man is the most relatable character to use and to kind of explore a world that has experienced something as massive as what happened in Endgame. So post your thoughts down in the comments below. What are your guys' thoughts on this? It looks like Far From Home is going to be a very important film for the MCU going forward. It's going to introduce the multiverse. It's going to deal with the 5-year time jump, people coming back, trying to adjust to their lives, Nick Fury putting together a new superhero team, taking down the elemental threat, and also the fact that Aunt May was one of those snapped away in the decimation event. For more updates on Spider-Man Far From Home and everything pop culture, be sure to subscribe to HN Entertainment.